India has an ancient spiritual and cultural connection with cows, and many Hindus regard the animals as the mother of civilization, their milk providing nourishment to humanity, asking nothing in return. Even Mahatma Gandhi once noted, "If someone were to ask me what the most important outward manifestation of Hinduism was, I would suggest that it was the idea of cow protection." So it stands to reason that for most Indians, beef is most definitely not on the menu. But on the other side are 180 million Indian Muslims who do eat beef and have been growing India's thriving beef export industry for over a decade. The so-called Pink Revolution has divided the nation along cultural, religious and political lines, fueling a resurgence in Hindu extremist thought over the issue of cow protection. The government too seems to be taking a hard line against those involved in the mostly Muslim beef industry.
It's almost like saying that live in this country but on my terms and conditions. Although our founding fathers in our constitution said that India is going to be a secular democratic republic where everybody has the equal rights, where everybody has his or her freedom to choose his way of life.
That's Guvraj Jain, a Muslim living in Delhi who protests his right to eat beef. And he's not alone. In October 2015, protests erupted in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir after the High Court there made the controversial decision to enforce an 83-year-old law banning the consumption of beef, even though the majority of the population in the region is Muslim. Bowing to pressure from Hindu extremists, beef bans have taken effect in several other Indian states, but many are worried that the laws are too extreme and that friction between Muslims and Hindus is reaching fever pitch.
Just imagine what a Muslim would be going through in his mind in a state like Delhi or Haryana or some other state where they are in a scaring minority. Like, you can be killed anytime on a mere suspicion that you were probably touching a cow. It's bizarre.
And that's no exaggeration. Some Hindu vigilante groups have started to seek out and persecute those who they suspect of being beef. For more isolated rural groups of Muslim minorities, consuming beef or even protesting your right to do so can have violent repercussions.
It was September 28, 2015. I cannot forget that day. At that time, I was posted in Chennai. I received a call from my sister that a mob attacked my house and they have beaten my father and taken him away. And she also told me that my brother has suffered injuries and is bleeding.
Sataj is recalling the night that a Hindu extremist group targeted his family in Dadri, a village just outside of New Delhi. Around 1,000 vigilantes launched an attack on the family, acting on rumors that they had eaten beef.
My grandmother, sister, and mother all were injured. They were hit by rods. My grandmother's eyes were swollen. There were injuries all over her body. She's around 82 years old. They didn't feel pity about the fact that she is too old and weak. They didn't consider it and even hit her. They caught my father and started beating him with whatever was in their hands.
Sataj's father, 52-year-old Muhammad Iklak, was killed in the attack. His death has prompted many Indian Muslims to speak out against the violence, urging India's secular government to protect its citizens regardless of their religious affiliations.
This whole controversy that is surrounding beef and the fact that a man in Dadri, barely 50 kilometers away from Delhi, was lynched on a mere suspicion that he was probably consuming beef. That was just unacceptable.
The scariest part is that the people doing the killing aren't faceless, unknown vigilantes. They might be your neighbors or even your friends.
Those people who were involved in this incident were those who were our close friends, with whom we shared everyday chores. Some were those who came to our house just the previous day on Eid and had a meal with us. We never imagined that something like this would happen.
The Hijras are a minority group in India who struggle to fit in with the rest of society. Find out more about India's third gender community by watching this video. Today, around 1 million people identify as Hijra in India. People like Meena. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.